Hi, I'm Ian with Redline, here to show you our MC655R 2,000 pound capacity motorcycle ATV lift table. This is a electric over hydraulic unit, has a little handheld unit here, and I'll go ahead and make it go up. And as it goes up, notice how smooth it is, how quiet it is. You'll also want to have a look at the safety locks underneath it. You'll be able to see the safety locks operate. I would like to point out that, as you can see there, the table is sitting on wooden blocks. That's part of how it comes in shipping. We've not taken it off the wooden blocks. So the table does sit substantially lower to the ground than you see here. And then of course when I raise it up, it's also going to be just a little higher than it would normally be. So I'll raise it all the way up as high as it'll go, quite a ways up. And operating the safety locks on this unit is there's nothing to it. All you do, pick up with your foot right there. And I'll point out before I let this thing go down that we do have our power unit underneath the lift. If you'll have a look underneath there, you'll notice that the power pack does not sit beside the table as it does with a lot of other tables. It's encased underneath it, which is really nice. The little handheld control here, one of the things I like about it, magnetic. You put it wherever you want it and just leave it there. It's a really neat little feature. So I'll lower it on down to a comfortable working height here. Let go, and I'm going to show you some of the various features of this unit. Let's go talk about the ramps at the back of it first. The ramps, the ATV ramps, which we've got installed here for the side extensions. There's nothing to it. Pulling these off is very, very easy. The center ramp that you see here, notice how long it is. Very, very long center ramp. That's great in that it helps cut down the angle getting the bike up onto the table. So if you've got a lowered chopper or something, it's going to help you not to drag as it comes up on the table. The center ramp, as you'll notice, also is diamond plated, so it helps to try and give you a little extra grip as you come up onto the table. So very, very handy. Let's talk about the rear dropout panel here for a second. The dropout panel on this table is not like it is with most tables. You don't just pull it out. What you've got are these little clamps here that I've got loose. You slide them to the side, and the dropout panel just hinges and falls right down. So it's a really, really neat feature. I'm going to go ahead and pull these little clamps off of here so I can show you the front/rear extension panel. It's really neat. You'll see how it works. You can use it on either the front or the rear. So if I were to bring my dropout panel in the up position right now, I don't have those clamps there, and of course, you know, it'll just fall without those clamps in place. So I'm going to pull this bolt off. And you know, just for the heck of it here, I'm going to take this little bolt here that I just pulled off. I'm just going to kind of sandwich it right there to hold the panel up. So let me grab one of these extension panels. These things are heavy. And you'll notice that you've got holes right here in each end of the table for the front extension panel/rear extension panel to go in place. So I'll put this on here like so. And I want to point out a couple of things. You'll notice that your front and rear extension panels are drilled for mounting your vise or your wheel chock to it. You've also got a slot here in the middle for the ramp, which is handy. And if you'll come up here and have a look at the front of this panel, you'll notice that there's a lip on the inside right here. That's going to keep my front extension panel, my dropout panel from pivoting all the way down. So as I push this in here, and it does bolt in place, but obviously I'm not going to bolt it in place right now. I'm just going to kind of pick up my bolt here that I had, and then I let that dropout panel fall into place. And here we've just lengthened the table quite a good bit. So let's move on. Let's talk about it a little bit more here. The side extensions for this unit. The side extensions for the 625 and the 655R are available in two different sizes. We've got our standard side extensions installed right here. We do have an extra wide set of side extensions that you can buy to go with this table that I believe widens it out to 68.5, I want to say, inches wide. Those are great for guys that are working on UTVs like Polaris Razors that just need tons of extra width out of them. And the neat thing about these side extensions is that they're a 2-piece side extension instead of a 1-piece. So suppose for a minute that, let's say you had yourself a Can-Am Spider, and you drove the Spider up onto the table. Your front wheels were on the side extensions in the front. After you've driven up on it, you don't need this panel in place anymore. So you just pull it off. And I'll go get the other panel over here and do the same. Obviously I could pull all 4 of them off. In this case I'm just going to pull off 2 for this demo. So now we've got a trike table. Had I pulled off the opposite side extensions, you'd have, you'd go flip-flop back and forth between a Goldwing trike table versus a Can-Am Spider trike table. So very neat little table. Let's continue and talk about some of the accessories that you can get for it. What we've got here is an MC655R fat jack. This jack is really, really smooth in the operation. You see I'm having no problem turning it with my hand here. You've got ball bearings in there. You've got a rubber pad on the top of it. It's great for working on four-wheelers, although some guys do choose to buy this for working on their motorcycle. The brother jack to this, the more commonly purchased one, is the MC450 universal jack. Same type of operation, real nice and smooth here. I'd like you to have a look at the welds that you see here on this jack. You see that tiny little TIG weld and how pretty it is? The quality of fabrication that you see on these units is really just amazing. And we sell the MC450 with the optional saddle adapters as standard equipment. You see you've got these pucks that you pull out and slide in here for different sizes, and you would just position this right underneath your motorcycle wherever you need it and pick up from the frame rails. So that's your MC450 with the saddle adapters, which are standard equipment in our case. Before we go any further, we'll talk about the optional wheel kit for this unit. You'll notice I've got a dolly here, a Nosewheel Dolly, and then a little set of wheels right here. And the wheels actually bolt to the side of the table right down here. You would screw onto this bolt here, which would rotate that wheel and pick that end up off the ground for you onto the wheel. So for the other end of the table, you would then take the Nosewheel Dolly, you would hook up to it right down here. See, you've got a little mount right there, and you could roll it around with the Nosewheel Dolly. So now that we've talked about that, let's have a look at our options up here for clamping onto the front wheel of a motorcycle. Here we've got the K&L Vise, very, very smooth operating vise. Notice I can do this with one finger. Look how easy that is. Nice thick rubber lining in here. And the cool thing about this setup is that it's not a fixed length setup. So what you have are rails that are bolted to the table, and you slide your vise backwards or forwards to tailor the length of your table to your motorcycle. And once you get it set to where you want it, you just clamp these bolts down in place, and then it doesn't move. So this is one of the options you have, which is the vise. I'll pull this out, set it aside, and I want to show you another one of the options that you have, which is the MC10R wheel chock. This wheel chock, you slide it in place and clamp it down with the same clamps just as you do with the vise. You'll notice here that you've got several different positions here where you can lock this thing into place for different diameter wheels. So you'd move your cradle back if you had a great big diameter front wheel. This allows you to just drive the bike right into this thing just as it is, and it'll hold itself upright while you strap it off. So let's talk a little bit about the front extension panel on this unit. Same exact deal on the front of this as you do on the rear. So I've got clamps up here on the front of it. I've already loosened the bolts. So if I slid these over to the side, my entire front assembly here would fall down just like you see as it does in the rear. If I wanted to put on the front extension panel, again, I'm going to pull these little clamps off. grab this panel and bring it back up. And again, I'm just going to kind of sandwich this bolt in here to hold it up. I've got 2 bolts here on the front of it, again, that are for your clamps. I'll pull these out, set them to the side, and I'll grab, again, the exact same panel, which is not anything you want to lift all day long. This thing is heavy, it is really beefy. Okay, I'll move this in, and then I'll just drop this down. And if I wanted to right now, I could move this entire assembly to the front here, and look how long this table would be from front to rear. I don't know how long that is. Goodness, maybe 10, 11 feet. Great for a stretched out chopper. This is the MC655R. You can see it at our website, redlinestands.com. You can call us at 901-351-4764 to order. We hope you enjoyed it.